Welcome to the Poppin' Report Show. I find it amazing that here in the United States, going back 20 years, we've really dropped the ball on intelligence when it comes to identity theft. Not long after I had got out of college, graduated, going back to around 2009, we now been going back 20 years, decided to take away the only intelligent way of actually preventing identity theft, which was on applications and credit card, debit card use, was requiring people to show an ID card. We really should never have stopped doing that going back almost 20 years, because if we kept requiring the ID card to be shown in stores for purchases, online transactions, that sort of thing, it would help prevent identity theft. It really would, especially with in-store transactions. Things would be a little more complicated with online purchases until, of course, they'd use the card in person in a store. Then obviously, when the ID card don't match the person with the card, holding it physically in their hands, trying to use it for a purchase in a store, they would be detained and arrested, prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for trying to use stolen credit cards and debit cards. So it's really sad that we're at that point in the United States where it took almost 20 years later, now in 2025, for the Trump administration. It could have been another president, but unfortunately, it is the Trump administration in 2025 that has done it, with the House and the Senate in 2025, where they passed legislation now requiring again to make America intelligent again. That's right. The legislation is making America intelligent again. When it comes to credit cards, debit card use in stores, you now will have to show an ID card. This is the only effective measure that will match the customer to the ID card and prevent identity theft. You're not preventing identity theft without the ID card having to be shown. You're allowing the identity theft to grow, which it did. It was growing and growing and growing, going back to almost 20 years in USA. And you American people, you dropped the ball on intelligence, being down with that, when you should have been fighting back against the credit card companies that were saying, we don't want you to show your ID card. We don't want people to do that are customers with a credit card, users of a credit card. No, we're not going to do that. Oh, we're not going to do that. We don't want that. And then the people who are identity theft victims are on the hook with the credit card companies, and they have to pay a debt because the credit card company stopped being intelligent. The credit card companies stopped being intelligent because all they wanted was people to use the credit card. Didn't care if it was the actual name on the credit card, be it Discover, Wells Fargo, somebody else, even one that came from Home Depot, a merchant like that, or any others, Best Buy, Target, anybody like Menards too, that would sell a credit card, sell you a credit card to sign up for it and be approved for it and then use it. These stores were allowing allowing people going back almost 20 years to use the credit card. They didn't care who was using the credit card tied to a store in America. And they were not requiring an ID to be shown for the purchases. They were coming up with excuses like, oh, they're small purchases, so we don't need you to show an ID card. It don't matter what the purchase is, you want to make sure the name on the credit card matches the ID card, matches the person on the ID card because of identity theft. That's the only way you're going to prevent identity theft. And the bottom line is, sadly, we spend about almost 20 years going back now, in conclusion, trying to go away from being intelligent in America. We went away from being intelligent in America because we wanted a credit card. We didn't care. We didn't care what it was. We wanted a credit card, but we didn't want to have that actual security of our identity in case you get robbed on the street, robbed in your home or apartment, wherever it may be. It becomes difficult for you to stop those transactions. Sure, you could cancel the credit card, but maybe you're not able to do it right away because you don't know about a transaction. And if they make a large purchase, oh, it's too late. Oh, you can dispute it, but if the store or credit card company feels it was an authorized transaction, then you're on the hook for it. I came across this with Home Depot myself. Home Depot was just happy that people were shopping in their store. But the bank tied to Home Depot said, Home Depot, you're stupid. You dropped the ball on intelligence. You dropped the ball on intelligence, Home Depot. The bank tied to the Home Depot credit card. That's just one store. And because of that, we now see in 2025, I have to reiterate this, in 2025, the House and the Senate has finally passed legislation. You can look it up. I'm not going to do everything for you, Americans. You can look it up. They have passed legislation, and it was a long time coming and overdue, where the American consumer, the American people, needed that only way of identity protection and identity theft prevention in place, which is you want to go to a store and use your credit debit card and make a small purchase, a big purchase. That's great. You should love your credit card, your debit card. But at the same time, you should be required to be actually intelligent in America as a consumer or American citizen, where you should want to show your ID card and show you are the person you say you are, because you don't want your cards ending up in the wrong hands in America. Because when that happens, it can be a difficult road to get out of when it comes to being a victim of identity theft. So case closed, Americans. Going back again, almost 20 years, not quite 20 years, but pretty close. It took the Trump administration in 2025 with the House and Senate to pass legislation that would restore intelligence in America again, where you have to show your ID card for any purchases with a credit card, probably even a debit card. That never should have went away. That never should have went away. And I also want to point out, when I spoke to the local police in the Midwest, California, Michigan, other states that I traveled to in 2024 and 2023, they said that they have not done that. The credit card companies have not done that for a very long time. And when you do the research, it goes back 20 years, but not quite the full 20 years, where credit card companies were not requiring you to show an ID card. They were just happy if you used the credit card or debit card. They didn't care who actually had the credit card, debit card in their hands when they were making purchases in person or even online. They were just happy that people were using that money, that available credit line that they had, So it's about time we are making America intelligent again. Thank you, Americans, for tuning in.